Welcome to Authentic with Brazil 201. I'm your host, Brazil 201. So before today's episode is going to be about the long walk. But before we talk about the long walk, we're going to do a quick Charlie Kirk update. But even before that, full stop, because it has been a shit show on social media since the assassination. Assassinations are bad, okay? Whether it is Charlie Kirk, Brian Thompson, Representative Melissa Hortman, the almost assassination of Donald Trump. Assassinations are bad, okay? And by the way, the fact the polling has now shown, Peter Hamby recently showed the tweet, that now 40% of the country believes political assassinations are okay. The very liberal, aka the Zoran voters, okay? Just assassinations are bad, very bad. And within that, I think there's been a lot of misinformation because a lot of people were wrongfully targeted for Charlie Kirk's assassination that were not involved in the assassination. Or, what's his name? Tyler Robinson was identified and arrested. There were a lot of people who were wrongly identified and had the Twitter mob sent on them. There was a trans man or woman that Twitter went after that was not involved. There was 2 lanky white boys who, by the way, not by the way, this is a Utah thing that found my fault. Most of the white people in Utah looked very similar, that the fucking Twitter mob went after and threatened them and things like that. The old man who was the first person that got blamed for it, and by the way, the text messages between, what's his name? Fucking Tyler Robinson and his trans roommate that is his boyfriend or girlfriend have come out, and boy, they are messy. And I know that already where the thing is going, and maybe it's true. Maybe it is true that obviously there's no such thing as a transgendered conservative, that the trans roommate and clearly by these text messages, Tyler Robinson, were very against Charlie Kirk and his beliefs because they, the whole thing with it. I just gotta say, the mob going after people who were not at all involved in the assassination, but then had the mob is not good, okay? Can we agree with that? Assassinations are bad, and so are just attacking people who were not the person who assassinated Charlie Kirk, okay? There were 4 innocent people who had an entire mob chased after them for 2 days, who have nothing to do with this at all. They were just, an innocent trans person who, by the way, like, went on breaking points and was like, "Look, the people are blaming me for this. I don't even live near that school." And that is bad, right? We have to agree what is bad on this, okay? Now, the quote unquote right wing cancel culture stuff, it is not at all the same as the left-wing cancel culture stuff from peak woke of 27 to 2021, because when the quote unquote "left" was canceling people, in the height of Taylor Lorenzo's power of her being an insufferable bitch, there was, if I don't know if you remember during the Clubhouse era of that late 2020, right after the Biden election to, like, April of 21, Taylor Lorenz was being a fucking bitch, like, telling on people who were saying "retard" in Clubhouse, and people were getting fired if they didn't wanna wear a mask or didn't wanna get vaccinated or they didn't give a shit about George Floyd or, shit like this is what left-wing cancel culture was, right? The right-wing cancel culture, by the way, I don't think it's really quote unquote cancel culture. It is there are pilots and doctors and teachers who are legitimately were celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Okay? That is not good. And it is not it's not a apples to apples comparison at all. What the right is doing actually here, kind of really agree with. Okay. And I hate cancel culture, but these are legitimate things. Jobs have morality clauses and shit like that. It's not the same. What was happening with the left where like, "Oh, you said retard or you don't believe in BLM and blah, blah, blah." The woke cancel culture, that shit is bad, and I'm glad that shit is over, okay? Next, um, we're gonna talk about The Long Walk, the movie that is directed by Francis Lawrence, story is by Stephen King, and screenplays by JT Mulder. Uh, Interesting. I gotta say, I think we've become so desensitized to violence in a way that should scare all of us, if you think about it, because, like, assassination attempts are earth-shattering, and now what's a way to phrase this correctly? Okay, let's back up a little bit. Mass shootings have become so desensitized that we are now that I think these people are now doing assassination attempts because they're shock and awe and they stay with you. Because when we get these mass shootings, the first thing most people say, I know this from in newsrooms, is is the shooter white or Muslim? That is legitimately the first fucking question they ask, and then they kinda go into the political beliefs of bliss. Now I have noticed the real more recent thing is, are they trans or whatever, but it's always been like, are they white or Muslim? And I think we've become so checked out. We treat tragedy like weather, and we cannot let this happen with assassination attempts. We also need to stop assassination attempts. We need to not glorify assassination attempts or cheer on assassination attempts, no matter who they are, no matter the political belief, because that is very bad. People have the right to say whatever the fuck they want. They should not be fucking gunned down from 300 yards away for just having their own opposite political ideology. But the sad thing is, I think this makes sense when you look at the media we consume. The culture loves dystopias, and we're obsessed with them, whether it's The Purge, Hunger Games, Maze Runner, now The Long Walk, people eat it up. Because people cheer on fake worlds where killing is entertainment, where violence is the culture, but not even that, where society has collapsed and people get to let out their rage. But The Long Walk kinda hits different. Painted it's a story where there was another great war after, like, civility infighting, and every year, a boy represents one of the 50 states, and 50 boys are forced to walk nonstop. They fall behind, if they stop moving, break the rules, you're shot, and only one can survive, and the crowds cheer on. And, while I was watching this movie, I gotta say, it's shot very interesting because it's all you're following them walking. But the cast is so I wish I don't under here's the thing with this, I think our lead, Peter, is great, okay? He is the only one I liked. Peter and the religious kid. Everyone else I really hated it. The lead was, I guess, fucking, Ray. Ray is supposed to be this fucking white trash redneck hick. And I just there's no re first of all, Mark Hamill is, like, the president in this movie and is, like, in 3 scenes and kills it. I didn't even know that was fucking Mark Hamill until I fucking Googled it. He's the major, and the whole thing is that this is the major's fault, all these things are happening because I guess he rules the world, and the major killed Ray's fucking dad because we apparently aren't allowed to learn history from the before times of this war, and the winner of the walk gets, like, a wish granted, I guess. It's some fucking nonsense. But the cast, I think if there was more here's the thing, everyone in this movie, with the exception of David Johnson, feels like a Tubi. It feels like and Mark Hamill, it feels like a Tubi movie. I don't understand if was I supposed to hate the Asian kid? Because I fucking fundamentally hated the Asian kid. I thought he was annoying. I hated fucking Stebbins. I hated Curly, I hated Barkovich. I was just like, "What is happening here?" It was just so dumb, and these fake friendships, and you just walk, 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 and you get warnings, and if you don't make it, you get killed. And I was just like, the concept is cool, and, like, yeah, they become friends, but they're not friends because only one could win, so I guess it's kinda like the first Hunger Games movie. I was look, good concept. I wish we knew what happened that caused the war. I also was kinda confused that they can't fight each other during the walk, like, the rules, because there's a guy who keeps trying to, like, bait someone, he tries to bait this kinda gay kid, and the gay kid tries to fight back, but he gets killed for the warning, and then this other dude, like, kills the military guy by grabbing the gun, he dies. This other, kid dies for shitting himself. It's a lot of it's a lot. I think this movie's very okay. I just wish there were better actors in it. Like, I feel like you coulda put, like, a lot of the CW people on this, and the movie would have dramatically improved. It's, like, all unknowns, and I just really could not stand Ray. It's just, like, no one here is, like, attractive, and it's really jarring, and I get it, it's a post-apocalypse, but I'm like, "Okay."